All right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and those a great millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. I'm the brother Aina from GMS Dallas. You can introduce yourself, bro.
I'm from Yaquab from GMS Dallas as well.
Khan. And basically, man, we're going to get into some prophecy. Of course, today is the, New Year's Eve of destruction, traditionally, as we prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, okay, which is, America, United States of America, okay. And, 2026, man, is dubbed by Apostle Tahar already as the year of apostasy, agents, and sellouts. Okay, and what you're seeing, okay, amongst Israel, amongst individuals that know that they're Israelites, is exactly that. Okay, individuals, basically teaching false doctrines. Okay, and all while America or Babylon the Great is falling, man. Okay, so we're going to get some precepts here, but before we do that, we want to get the definition of the word apostasy. And of course, Yaquab, if you have any points or like anytime, just let me know and I'll stop. But i'm
Con.
gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick. Okay, and this definition here of apostasy, okay, because again, Apostle Tahar uh, dubbed dubbed 2026 the year of apostasy, agents, and sellouts. Okay, so you got this definition: apostasy, the abandonment or renunciation of a religious or political belief. Because you got Israelites saying, "Oh, I escaped Hebrew Israelism," or surviving surviving the Hebrew Israelites, like you was held, what's it called, like against your will, okay, uh to be an Israelite, which you cannot ultimately remove who you are. Okay, being an Israelite is not a choice. It's who you are. Okay, now you actually carrying yourself and walking and living your life according to how an Israelite should, that's the part that people basically abandon or renounce, okay, after they fall away. And I wanted to actually get real quick a precept that came to mind, Matthew 13. And Yaquab, I'm just gonna keep going, brother. You know what I'm saying? So don't, like, you don't have to wait for me to stop because I'm gonna just keep going. So if you have anything to add, precept wise or anything, let me know, Baba Kusha, okay?
Con.
Uh,
Con.
but let me go ahead and get this real quick, this precept. Um, okay, this is a precept we get all the time, the parable of the sower. And this is it. This is it here. In the beginning of the chapter, and then basically the disciples asked for the breakdown. Okay, so I'm gonna get the parable first, actually, and then I'm gonna get the breakdown. So this is Matthew 13:3. It says, "And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold," and these are the words of Yahushua in red, "a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But the other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some an hundredfold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. And then he who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Okay, so this is a parable. This is a parable that Yahushua spoke out in the open. And imagine hearing this for the first time, right? Like, we know the breakdown now, but they're hearing this, basically, like, with no type of uh explanation afterwards, right? And the disciples that came and asked, why speakest thou unto them in parables? They're like, yo, well, like, uh, master, Yahweh, wouldn't it be better to like tell them straight up? Look what Yahweh said. And he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So that's a heavy thing, man. Okay, so all of these people that are being deceived by false prophets, whether you are a Christian pastor, teaching Jesus and hell and all of these bugged out, um, old, tired breakdowns, okay, or you're an Israelite that knows that you're an Israelite, but you basically are, for the sake of money, you basically selling out and you teaching, or you're what's the word, like you basically hiding certain things, certain aspects of the truth. You're changing, adding certain things to the scriptures and taking away other things to make it more malleable, okay, for the people. You also are an apostate, okay. Now, I want to drop down, okay, to the explanation here, okay, of he that received the seed among the thorns, specifically because um, there were some that received the seed, um, what was it, by the wayside, okay, some that received the seed on stony places, and then some that received the seed among the thorns. Those are three separate scenarios. And the fourth scenario is the one that received the seed into the good ground. And that seed is talking about the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the true doctrine, the sound doctrine. Okay. Now, this specific scenario, um, the one that received the seed among thorns is in verse 22. Okay, Matthew 13 and 22 says, he also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world, key point, okay, and the deceitfulness of riches. Because you got individuals like, what's his name? General Yohana. He's been, the flavor of the week, you know what I mean, so far this week about, a podcast that he did, or interview, whatever you want to call it. You've seen that video, Yaquab. You know what I'm talking about.
Con.
Where basically he said, we can just detach ourselves from America and just give us 15%. Black people make up 15% of American population. So just give us 15% of the land, and we'll go on and do our own thing, and we'll be fruitful and multiply. But where is that in the scriptures at? Where is that in the scriptures? Okay. So again, the word is ultimately in individuals like that. It is the word, that individual becomes unfruitful because the word is choked. It's not able to grow because of the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches, because that's what a lot of individuals are about. Okay, since the popularity of this Hebrew Israelite thing, and this is just since we've been around, Yaquab, of course we hear our apostles and elders tell stories of even when before the internet was around, how it basically, money was being mishandled, to put it lightly. You know what I mean? Money was being mishandled amongst the Israelite community, even back before the YouTube era, you know? So again, it says, and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. You see? So those are individuals that, again, the pride of life, okay, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, basically blocks those individuals from receiving and being fruitful, man. Okay, you still there with me?
Yeah, con. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Like I said, if you got something, let me know. If not, I'm gonna go on to the next one. Or if you want to read, you can. I got Luke 9 held. I got Titus 3. If you want to do Luke 9 and 62, that was the next one I was gonna get.
Okay, you said Luke 9.
Yeah, Luke 9 and 62. And also Titus 3 and 10. Because going back to that definition, man, apostasy,
Con,
okay? Somebody who abandoned or renounce their religious or political belief. But in this case, we're talking about renouncing the belief in Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, or you're abandoning your post. Okay. And so um an individual like that cannot be respected, man. You see?
mm-hmm. Con, you
Go ahead and
want
get that,
Luke?
Baba Kusha,
Okay.
unless you had something.
Con, I got you. This is Luke 9 and 62. It says, and Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Lord.
That's right. You see? You want to speak on that?
Yeah, yeah. Just like the brother going into, man, a lot of these people will hear the word of the Lord and then proclaim themselves to be Israelites and say that they believe and have faith and all that, but then they look back and see the things of the world that they maybe they miss, or certain lifestyles they used to live, or there's other factors that come in too that affect how they see this truth, and then they go back and turn their backs on the Lord, man, just because of the world. That's a
Mhm.
major factor. And like the brother was reading, um the parable of the sower. I had it on deck, but I had it in Luke, but I wanted to read this in Luke 8 real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go back. That was
So
it on
this is
that. So let's go to Luke 8. What verse?
13, 8 and 13.
Okay, I got it right here.
So you brought it out in was it Matthew?
Matthew 13, yeah.
Yeah, I'll read it in here in Luke. I'll just read this part right here. It says, they on the rock are they which, when they hear, receive the word with joy, and these have no root, which for a while believe, and in time of temptation fall away. So you do have those that come in for a good minute, and then they do truly believe for a sound, for like it says right there. It says, uh when they hear, they receive the word with joy, and these have no root, which for a while believe. What I'm saying? But
Hmm.
when temptation, man, they're gonna fall away, because of what? They didn't they were they that seed fell on that rock. So their roots didn't have nowhere to, really plant themselves firm to where they weren't gonna how do you say, waver, you know?
Hmm. Right. Yeah, that's it. Wavering, because basically that's what this one's talking about. Like, so the three scenarios, one of them is basically just like the average situation where a nigga just, ain't in the spirit to receive the word. So that's seed cast by the wayside. And then verse 13, what you're going into, the seed cast on the rock are those that, they hear the word and believe it. And then as soon as a little bit of persecution, because right now, it's cute to be an Israelite right now. Like you got Captain Tazariak on some fucking parody satire podcast, and is getting, hundreds of thousands of views, over a million views, you know what I mean? And so that's why Yahushua, when Yahushua said that you have no cloak for your sins, this is what he means. Okay, because um let's see if it pulls up. I think it's singular, because when the wicked scribes and Pharisees, maybe I spelled it wrong, they basically said basically like, yeah, we already know everything that there is to know. Okay, and with the information that's going out, okay, the Israelites being pushed on the forefront now, like it's basically mainstream. There's no excuse. Okay. Um, I think it's is it CL? No,
Yeah,
it's I think I spelled it right. You know what
yeah.
I'm
People
saying?
say it's spelled different. I don't know
Is
why.
it? Hold on, let me see here.
Talking about the one that says cloak of
Okay, yeah, I
maliciousness.
got it. Yeah, I was
Oh,
spelling it wrong. That's on me. I got it right here. This is John 15 and 22. But I'm gonna go up a little bit. Um, let me see here. Okay, this is John 15 and 19. The point is in verse 22. It says, if ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, um, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. Okay, that's talking about the true believers in Yahushua, right? And then verse 20 says, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. But if they had persecuted me, they will also persecute you. So these individuals aren't thinking about that, okay? That are either in the world, they're out tonight, partying, doing whatever they want. Okay, they're not gonna be persecuted for the word because they don't really belong to the category of believers. Okay, they're gonna be the ones doing the persecuting. But the thing is, they're still gonna be catching. They're still gonna be getting persecuted, but it's not gonna be because of the word. They're just gonna be getting persecuted in general. Okay, because Esau gonna come down. Okay, on Jake. Okay, Esau is gonna come down on so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whether you in the truth or not. Okay, but the scripture says in First Peter 3 and 14 to suffer for righteousness' sake. You don't want to suffer as an evildoer because the suffering and the tribulation is going to come whether you are a believer or a scoffer. Okay, but what are you willing to suffer for? What are you willing to die for? Okay, that's the question that everybody should be thinking about and having already. You should already have that answer because the time of death is coming. Okay, the time of death is coming. Okay, verse 21, but all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not sinned. But now they have no cloak for their sin, because Yahushua did come and speak unto them. That's the whole point of this specific verse or the specific precept, is that this mainstream, these videos that are getting all these views, or these Israelites on podcasts, okay, that are under the banner of Israel, okay, these individuals that watch these videos, they might think it's like a parody. A lot of this stuff isn't taken seriously. Okay, a lot of these dudes when they get up on these bigger platforms, they're just shucking and jiving and um basically making themselves look like fools. Okay, but at the end of the day, everybody that watches those videos can't say that they didn't know about the Israelites. Okay, and you got some sincere brothers that's actually going to be able to connect. Like they have, plenty of brothers have plenty of testimonies. They might have started watching IUIC or ISUPK first, and then they're like, nah, something's not really right about the doctrine on this. And then they start going to GMS videos, getting the breakdown, and they come into the fold. Now that's few and far between, but at the end of the day, what Yahweh shall I say? But now they have no cloak for their sin, because now his prophets are going out there in his name, in the name of Yahweh Shai, okay, and speaking unto the people, right? Just like them dudes that came up to the camp last night. I know you wasn't there, but it was some Christians that came up to the camp last night, and they was basically trying to convert us. They were trying to make us like, or they were really asking us what we believe in, but at the end they was trying to convert us. It's like, bro, Christianity ran its course, bro. It's over. But yeah,
Con,
next scripture. Oh, go ahead. You have something else?
yeah, I got a quick precept
Okay.
or scripture really. I want to. This is Hebrews 3 and 12.
Mhm.
You got it on there? Okay.
Yeah.
It says, "Take heed, brethren, lest there be any of you." Select. Take heed, brethren, lest there be any of you an evil heart or of unbelief, and departing from the living power. You know what I'm saying? So just like we was talking about earlier, you know what I'm saying, and going into the parable of the sower, you know what I'm saying, though that all affects the you know the belief in his word, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're still looking back over your shoulder at the world, or you know what I'm saying, or listening to these other doctrines that really make no sense, or still, you know, diving into these other religions or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? Because that's really the you know that unbelief. You know, you still have that evil heart and unbelief, like the scripture's talking about. You know, because that's what causes you to depart from the living, you know, from the living power. You know what I'm saying? From this, from the what actually, what this book is actually talking about. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep. And this chapter talks about how the Israelites from the wilderness and Exodus basically departed from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? They had that evil heart. They were hard hearted. And that's what apostasy really is going into. Okay. Uh, the renouncing of your belief or the abandonment of your belief, which that's our power source. You can see some of the the what's it called, synonyms, you know, disloyalty, betrayal, treachery, okay, faithlessness, okay, heresy, which we're gonna get. Matter of fact, let's get that next. Titus 3 and 10. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Heresy is one of the similar words to apostasy. Okay. And an apostate, matter of fact, define apostate. A person who renounces, yeah, yeah, who renounces a religious or political uh belief or principle.
Okay,
You know,
you said Titus 3 and 10.
Baba Koshah, yeah, Titus 3 and 10, Baba Koshah.
Okay, this is Titus 3 and 10. It says, "A man that is an heretic after the first and second admonition reject, knowing
Right.
that." Oh, Salak.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
"Knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinneth, being condemned of himself."
Right. So the question is, what is an heretic? A heretic is basically the same thing as an apostate. Um, the word in the Greek, uh, heretikos, which says um, schismatic, schismatic. Okay, like you creating division. Okay, or you're divided within. Oh, we get that scripture. Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. We can hold that one on deck. Factitious, or a follower of a false doctrine. Okay, factitious mean a different faction. Okay, you basically following a different faction. You're claiming one. You're claiming to be a part of this, you know, one group, but you really have you know, followed another way. Okay. Let's get the root word here. Eratizo, to choose to belong to a sect. Yeah, there's no different. There's no different sects of the truth, if that makes sense. Like there's no like different versions of the truth. You know.
Um, you
Okay.
want that in James
Yeah, Baba Kusha. What was it, James? What?
James 1 and 8.
Okay. Yeah, Baba Kusha.
It says, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is a God." Okay, yeah, that was the point. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You know what I'm saying? Just like the brother you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? dabbling in different, whether it be different religions or different group, camps or groups, that aren't one minded. What I'm saying? That's being double minded, man, or having different opinions of what, like certain what certain brother or what certain brothers are saying, or I'm saying, thinking that every, there's some people that think that every camp has some truth, or just stuff like that, man. Instead of keeping to one doctrine, mixing it with these other religions also,
Yep. Um, I'm gonna give. I'm
What's
gonna
wrong,
give
man?
an example. I'm gonna give an example, man. Okay. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Listen to some music. Um, but to hell with that. Lock in. Okay. All right. I wanted to get this video the brother just posted on the chat. Let's get this dude, man. Uh, watch this, bro. You can keep speaking real quick. I'm just pulling it up.
Okay, I got a precept that I wanted to bring out real quick while you look that up. This is Second Peter. Oh, sorry. Second Peter 2:17. It says, "These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. For they speak great swelling words of vanity. They allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error." So like like I just read, man, they speak vanity, and their words, the words are vanity, and they allure to the lust of the flesh, so they speaking on their own opinion, talking about things that they want, and not according to what the scriptures say. What I'm saying? Yeah, they might bring out scriptures, whatever, but they're not they're not breaking them down to their fullness. You know,
What scripture was that?
there's more on this, but if you want to show that video, that's Second Peter 2, and you could start.
Second Peter. Okay.
You could really start like from the top, but I just got that point in verse 18.
Okay.
You know.
Second Peter 2:18. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay. Yeah, so let me get this real quick because you already broke that down beautifully. This is the video. Brother just posted it on the chat, right? This fucking I don't even know who this guy is, right? But this is examples of what Jake is doing in the last days, okay? And this is, fair use. You know what I'm saying? This video is for educational purposes, okay? And it's not for any profit, okay? The title of the video, you can see right here, ex GMS Hebrew Israelite member turns to Jesus Christ. So this is what you got guys doing, you know what I'm saying? This dude, he going in the water. I'm not gonna play it. I don't know who this guy, I don't know who he is, whatever, blah blah blah. I don't know what camp he was in, but you get the point, right? You got guys going back to their own vomit. Okay, which we just did we read Luke 9:60? We already read Luke 9 and 62. Okay,
No,
he
no,
taking
I
his
was
hand off the
gonna.
plow. No, we read it. We didn't we read it? I
I
thought we
was
read
just.
it. Yeah, we read it because we read Luke 8 afterwards.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
con. I was trying to find that one in Peter's, where it talks about how the swine, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, return back to his own vomit. Or are you talking about well it's worded wallowing in the mire. I'll get it real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Second Peter, it's the same chapter. Second Peter 2 and
Oh,
22.
oh, it's in the same one. Okay, yeah, yeah. If you would have kept reading, okay, yeah, yeah. What is it? Second Peter 2:22.
22. Kind of, yep.
It says, but it has happened unto them according to the true proverb: the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the soul that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. Because when you looked at, because I had to look this up a while back, a long time ago. Because the soul talking about, like a pig, being washed, being cleaned. returning to her wallowing in the mire, pretty much they go back to their own filth, and just start doing this, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in their own
Start
piss
wiggling around in that
and
mud.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what this
man.
that's what this dude is doing. That's what this guy is doing. I mean, this is just one example, you know what I mean? But sometimes, you need a visual. I don't know who this guy is, but he's he's going back to Jesus Christ.
Oh look,
He was I don't know if he was in the camp. Again, this we just got this video. I'm just going live. This is straight live reaction. But this is just an example of what we're going into, just so the brothers know that we're not just talking about stuff that's not going on. Like people are really uh losing it, man. Okay,
um,
people are
Bubba,
really losing
oh,
it.
look.
Say again.
No, I was gonna say, Bobak Shah. Let me read one verse up. You know,
Yeah, go ahead.
so this is verse 21 back in 2 Peter 2:21. It says, "For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness, than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them." So it would have been better for them not to know it at all, man. Because now you know the judgments. Now you know the consequences of what happens when you turn away from these things, man. You
Yep.
know, that's why the first thing that you learn, one of the first scriptures that you learn when you come into this thing is in Proverbs, the first chapter. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, man. Why we fear the Lord, man? Because once you enter into this thing, man, the consequences of the world and just walking around not knowing this thing is already a horror in itself, but knowing, coming into this thing and receiving all of this and then turning your back on it, that's even more dangerous, man. Who knows what kind of judgment that dude gonna receive.
Right. Well, again, we already read it again in Luke 9. Okay, but you're not fit for the kingdom. Okay, you're not fit for the kingdom. Okay, and like it says, I'm trying to get some of the ones we already read. Um, how it's impossible to basically go back. Okay, Hebrews 6, right? Um, this is Hebrews 6:4. For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened, that have tasted of the heavenly gift and were made partakers of the Holy Spirit, and have tasted of the good word of the Most High and the powers of the world to come, if they shall fall away, okay, which that's what this dude, he fell away. He fell back to the mud. He went back to the vomit, and even certain comments on it, uh, like the comments, even they cooking that boy in the comments. Yeah, that guy is cooked. LOL. The Most High is definitely going to remove him. Uh, looks like, oh, there's a scoffer comment right there. The brother returned to the vomit, and then you got other bug outs talking about beautiful. You see, but this dude, he was spot on. The brother returned to the vomit. What does dude say? Uh, he got this is the originator. No, sir, he was in the vomit, and the Lord took him out of it by His grace. You see, so these Christians, bro, they're never gonna stop. That's why we dismiss y'all when y'all come up to the camp. We dismiss y'all because you're nothing but demons, man. Okay, and you got to rebuke Satan, right? Rebuke the devil, and he will flee.
I
Okay,
got
this
I
nigga's
got the
still
precept
pushing.
to this. Oh,
Yeah, if you turn to Christ, you can come out of that darkness. You see that bullshit. So it's a war, and then but you'll see videos like this, and then people won't think that we're in a spiritual war. Come on, bro. Right? Like I said, you said you had a precept, brother Slakia.
well, I just have that precept to this that we just read in the Old Testament. It's pretty quick, but
Go
Proverbs
ahead.
26:11. It says, As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly." And that's ultimately what he wanted to do, man. He probably got cursed out for some shit he was doing. I'm just talking shit, but
Who
he
knows? Who
probably,
knows?
yeah, who
Who
knows?
knows?
What I'm
Maybe he was
saying?
never even in the camp. Maybe he was a wannabe. Or maybe you know what I mean? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like you going into, bro, you could have been a camp head, or you could have been somebody that was just watched the GMS video one time. You still are without excuse, and you have no cloak for your sins. You got it, bro.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's right. They just want to go back and return to whatever bullshit they was into. You know what I'm saying? And like the brother, like you just mentioned, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to come back from you being washed, and then you diving back into that mud. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not. It says, I'm gonna read it again. It's not that it's hard. It's the fact that you rejected the Lord. So, being that this thing of ours that we're in, right? We didn't we didn't force our way into the truth, meaning like we didn't like make the Most High give us the Spirit so that way we could be in the truth. Okay, the Lord said, okay, I'm gonna call this individual, and we're gonna see if he's gonna endure to the end or not. Okay, that seed was sown in our little plot of land, and whether we're categorized as stony or good ground, okay, or if there was thorns on our ground, right? That's all depending on the recipient. Okay, so an individual that goes out, or I should say that goes back to the world. You in the world, bro. We know that parable that talks about the individual that gets released from a demon, and that demon goes around, in dry places seeking rest, and then when he comes back and he finds that that same place that he left, okay, empty and swept and garnished, ready for hot to be stayed in again. He brings in seven more wicked spirits worse than himself, and Yahweh Shai said the state of that man is worse than the first. So this dude is in a worse position. Oh, I don't know where it went. This dude is in a worse position than, and there's many, and this is just a readily made example. Yahweh Shai, Shai, the spirit of Yahweh Shai provided during the time of this video a readily made example of exactly what we're talking about. Okay. Um, did you still want? Hold on, let me see. Let me see. Got that? What were we reading? Hold on. I think I might have lost my tab.
We were reading.
Oh, Proverbs 26.
Yeah, yeah, that was the point on that one.
That was it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, all right. So back to what we were going into. We read this already in Luke. Oh, let me finish this in Hebrews 6 and verse 6. It says, if they shall fall away, it says it's impossible to renew them again. If they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucify to themselves the Son of Yahushua afresh. See, an individual like this that turns back, okay, to the vomit, because you was in the vomit. The vomit is false doctrine. Okay, the vomit is the ways of this world, being what's the word? A degenerate Negro or Latino or Native American. Okay, and then you go back, or excuse me, you go in, you come into the Word, okay, and you get cleansed. Romans 12:2, you get transformed by the renewing of your mind. You learn the precepts, all these things. The Spirit of the Lord's dealing with you, and then whatever demons convince this guy. That's why the Scripture says in Galatians, um, hold on, real quick, where it talks about basically any spirit that comes up and is trying to convince you other than the gospel that you've heard, what I'm saying, reject them, rebuke them, you know. Um, I want to say it's in the same verse. Yes, sir. Call out Yabashim Yahushai. Galatians 1 and 8. Okay. Outside of verse 6. I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Mashiach unto another gospel. You see that? There was individuals that was getting pulled away from the truth, even though they were proselytes, like they were like recent, you know what I mean? That's like you hear the truth, and then you know how you was on fire like the first 6 months, 12 months, whatever. You know what I mean? Like when you first come in, And then you hear something else and you're like, ooh, yeah, that sounds even better. It's like, nah, like, hold on, man. Okay. Paul was saying, I marvel. He's surprised. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read this in the NLT. I'm gonna read this in the NLT just for you know comprehension. Okay. This is Galatians 1 and 6 through 8 in the NLT. I am shocked that you are turning away so soon from the Most High, who called you to himself through the loving mercy of Mashiach. Oh, and Yaakov, I don't know if you still got 1 Timothy 4. 1 Timothy 4, the one you wanted, 1 Timothy 4 and 1. You can hold that one for next. But it says, who calls you to himself through the loving mercy of Mashiach. Um, you are following a different way that pretends to be the good news. Okay, see that? That's called a heretic. You're following a different faction or you're a different sect, but it's really not the truth. It's just a alternate. It's a not even alternative because that insinuates um, legitimacy. It's a false version of the truth. Okay, it says you are following a different way that pretends to be the good news, but it is not the good news at all. You are being fooled by those who deliberately twist the truth concerning Mashiach. Okay, because there are individuals who deliberately twist the truth. Okay, and those are individuals that are going to be just they're going to get the worst judgment. Okay, because they got blood on their hands. They got their own blood and other people's blood because they're leading the flock astray. Okay, they're leading them on the path of destruction, man. You see? That's why in verse oh, I'm sorry, you had some you was gonna say something?
No, no, I was just agreeing.
Kind. So in verse 8, and here's the point in verse 8, let the most high's curse fall on anyone, including us, or even an angel from heaven who preaches a different kind of good news than the one we preach to you. Okay, so they were like, look, the apostle Paul was like, look, even if I change the doctrine up and I say, look, no, this is really the truth, not the old stuff I was teaching. He was like, look, let a curse fall on me, or any like people say, oh yeah, I got an angel, I had a dream, and the dream said that Cornelius was actually an Edomite, and that the other nations could be saved, and so all types of things that you weren't taught, right? And at the end of the day, um, you got to know when to rebuke. Okay, you got to know when to rebuke evil thoughts, thoughts of deception, because it is a constant war. But that's why you got to be fully persuaded. You got to be fully persuaded in your own mind. Okay, so let's uh let's
You
get
want
the
the?
one that you had. Unless you had a point, you know what I'm saying. We get that precept. First Timothy
Okay,
4.
I got it right here. It's 1 Timothy 4 and
Oh snap! Did you see this? I didn't see this before. Did you see this?
oh no, I'm on the which one is this one? This is
You
the
in your
Bible.
Bible?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in the. Oh, I'm on the on my other phone. I'm on the King James Bible Online.
Okay,
Um,
no, because this is on the blue letter. I didn't see this before. Like how you on the blue letter and it has like subtitles or yeah, basically like
yeah,
subheadings for like
yeah.
parts of the chapter. You know what I'm saying? That's not actually part of the verse. So this one is apostasy. So that's the spirit.
Um, this is 1 Timothy 4 and 1. It says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils." So like hey, they these other people, these guys that aren't rooted, like we went into earlier, man. Their spirit is easy to for spirits to seduce. Whether it be a different doctrine or like the brother I now just showed that video of that dude. going back to Christianity, or maybe he wasn't a Christian before or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But he turned his back on the truth, man. You know,
Yeah.
verse 2, it says, speaking lies and hypocrisies, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. See, their consciousness was seared with that with that hot. Their spirit was what was affected, man. Uh, Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats. Well, that was the point. You know what I'm saying? It just goes into different examples. You know what I'm saying? But did you have a point you want to make on that, or I got a precept?
No, no, no. What else you got, bro?
Okay. Damn.
If not, I got a couple lined up.
Okay, get yours first.
Okay, I got you.
My place.
Let me see. Uh, I'll get this quick one. I'll get this quick one and get this one out of the way. Jeremiah 2:19. It says, let me see here. All right, it says, thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backslidings shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, thy power, and that my fear is not in thee, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of hosts. You see that? So really every you know backsliding Israelite, okay, every Israelite that basically renounced or abandoned their faith, okay, in Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to have to give account for that in the day of judgment, which we're in the times of judgment, man. You know, um, we're in the times of judgment heavily, okay. But that key word there, backslidings, okay. Let me get that word real quick. Backslidings. Strong's H4878, Mashawaba. Okay. Uh turn away, backsliding. Here we go. Turning away, turning back, apostasy. Okay. Apostasy, going back to that definition. Okay. A person who renounces a uh we'll say belief, specifically in this case, the belief in Yahweh Shai. Okay. A person who renounces their belief in Yahweh Shai is an apostate. Okay. That word there, what was it? Ma shawaba is defined as turning away, turning back, apostasy, backsliding. You see that? That's even right here. the apostasy, the apostasy of Israel. If you see that there. The apostasy of Israel. Okay. Now let's go back here. That was it on that precept. Did you find yours, brother?
Yeah, I got one. So this is Colossians 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. It says, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry, for which these things sake the wrath is of the Lord cometh on the children of disobedience. So when these people are showing you these examples of these things, those are things of the earth, man. And those are the children of disobedience. They're the ones that turn back to these things. That's why we just read, it says mortify your members. You know what I'm saying? Like, in your mind, like, understand that these things are to be cut off. You know what I'm saying? To be put away. And it says in verse 7, it says, in the which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in them. Because it's true. Before we came into this truth, man, we walked the same path as the people in the rest of the world, man. But we come into this truth, we turn back from that path and go to a different direction, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, right? And it says, But now you also put off all of these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And that's also a part of it as well, you know. It says, verse 9, lie not to one another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds. You know what I'm saying? So when you walk into this, uh, when you walk, come into this truth, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to spiritually baptize your mind, you know what I'm saying? Putting off that old man, you know what I'm saying? Turning back from the same wicked deeds that you did, man. Because if you keep mingling in them, eventually you're gonna fully go back and turn back to the ways of the world, you know.
Hmm. Well, that's a precept in the Apocrypha. I'm gonna get it real quick. Sirach, could you repeat what you just said? Matter of fact,
You're talking about like if you keep mingling while you in the truth or whatever, you're gonna turn your back on it on the truth eventually.
that's it. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, for you brothers, this is the precept to what the priest just said. Sirach 37:27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. For
Hmm.
all things are not profitable. And you can break this down. For all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything.
Yeah, kind of like the brother read, what was that first verse you read? But prove thy soul in thy life and see what
Mm-hmm.
is evil for it, and give
Mm-hmm.
not that unto it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they doing, man. They giving power to these things of the world, and not fully like it said right here in this other chapter, mortifying those things, cutting them off completely. And because when you read in Peter's, it talks about that baptism, not the washing away of the filth of the flesh, but of a good conscience. So those things start in your mind, man, when you really believe and repent and turn back from those things, man. That's something that happens in your mind in sincerity. You know what I'm saying? Not because that's what Christianity does. You know what I'm saying? They allow you to still live that same to have that same mentality and that same lifestyle, and then go to church every Sunday and praise Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. So that was it on that. All right. And you finished that in Colossians as well, right?
Con,
Or is there
yeah.
more?
No, that
That's
was
still
it.
Colossians. Okay, cool. Quick, can you get I know we read First Peter or Second Peter 2. Can we get First Peter 2 and 1, verses 1 through 3, Kusha?
You said First Peter 2:1.
Yeah, First Peter
It's
2, verse 1.
okay. It says, "Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and evil speakings, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. If so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious."
See that? Okay. So you're supposed to cast off the ways of this world, okay? And why would you do that? Because you actually believe. If you don't believe, it's not worth going out to the camp, you know, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years just to cross over and then fall out. Okay. You might as well just count the cost before you start the project. Okay. And do all of this you know, before you say, okay, I want to be, you know, I want to be in the camp. Yeah, kind of want to be in the camp. Jake think that because you in the camp, that's a ticket on a chariot. Now, don't get me wrong, it's close, you stand close to the fire, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that you can't get rejected because what does the body do to foreign objects that it doesn't recognize? It rejects it, it attacks it, okay? And it gets kicked out the body, right?
Mhm.
So it says, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk, those are the foundational teachings, okay, the basic building blocks of the faith. For example, sincere milk would be, for example, the name of the Most High, the name of His Son, okay, the understanding that you are an Israelite. Okay, the Hebrew alphabet, the Lord's Prayer, um, basic prophetic. Oh, what do we go into all the time? Revelation 13 and 16, being the mark of the beast. Okay, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Okay, color scriptures. You know what I'm saying, to show that Israel is was a melanated nation, so on and so forth, right? And then you build and you grow, and your faith grows, right? Oh, the first color scripture we always get is what, Revelation 1, like verses 6 to 7, 8, 9. Where it describes Yahweh Shai, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it says, if so be, and here's the point: if so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious. So if you've gotten an inclination that um, you know, the spirit of the Lord is working with you because he's opening up your mind, because we all know that sensation. You know what I mean? Like when you first, you know what I mean, Yaquab, like basically when you first come in, like, and you first start understanding the scriptures, and you just become like, you feel like a sponge that's getting water for the first time. Like you've lived your life as a dry sponge this whole time, not even knowing the sensation of what it's like to soak up water. And you're like, oh shit. Like you're getting all this information. You're getting that taste, that first taste. You know what I mean?
Gone.
Of like information and knowledge and wisdom, right? Because you got individuals that get a taste of it, okay, and they think that that's all that there is to know, or they think that they're good to go. It's like, nah, you're supposed to continue to grow in this thing. Okay.
I, I got a precept to what you just said.
Go ahead, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're right. It's like that like a plant that hasn't been watered in a long time, or a plant that's been sitting in the sun. That hasn't been given any water. What I'm saying? When that water is poured on it, it gives that relief. What I'm saying? And it soaks it up, and if it's a good feeling, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
even if you outside yourself and you ain't drank water all day and it's fucking hot, and what I'm saying, and then you finally get that first drink of water, what I mean? That's the same
Fine.
with the truth, right?
Yep.
So Isaiah 44 and 3, it says, "For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty and flood," because that's really what we were, what I'm saying, out in the world, not knowing nothing, looking for answers, or like brother I not mentioned earlier, maybe you were looking at these other camps, or you were into something, either whether it be in a religious group, into conspiracies, or you were out there looking, you were out there looking for something, like the spirit was you know changing you in that direction, to where you were really looking for something, you know pretty much, the truth, what I'm saying. You were looking for something in the world that wasn't bullshit, pretty much, if that makes sense. But
Yeah. Yeah,
but
Con, you were looking for something to validate your curiosity. Meaning, like, okay, why am I even searching in the first place? Is it because I don't know? Is it because there's some certain things that I don't know? So in the search for wisdom, that's why the scripture says in Sirach 39 and 1, real quick.
hmm oh,
Okay.
you said
I
which
got it.
one? Oh,
Sirach, I got it right here, Sirach 39 and 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the most high and is occupied in the meditation thereof. See, because we was like, well, I'll say me, like, all right, I'm gonna ask you, Yaquab, like, were you like before you found out the name of the Lord and stuff like that, like were you interested in the Bible? Like were you like looking for truth in the Bible?
yeah, I was well, before I started going, like, looking into these other things. Yeah, I used to go to church a lot, and then I used to go have like one-on-one Bible studies with the youth minister of that church, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Yeah, because we kind of had an idea that we at least had an idea that, like, okay, like there's something special about this book. You know what I'm saying? But you keep looking in that direction, and the Lord gonna guide you. He's gonna guide your mind, and he's gonna show you like how he showed you and showed me and other brothers. Okay, this is where the truth of the Bible lies, and then it's up to us to make that, to accept that or not. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna read it again, Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecy. And we're still doing that. We're still doing that, right? It says it will keep the sayings of renowned men, where subtle parables are, there will he will be there also. That's what we're going into, desiring wisdom, okay? That we may rule forevermore. We're honoring wisdom as well, because we're putting it to good use. Okay. It says, verse 3, he will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. You see? Meaning, like, you're going to understand Proverbs, you're going to be able to break down the scriptures, okay? Because that's what you're feeding your mind, and the Spirit of the Lord is going to be working with an individual that's sincere to the intent that they can go out and teach the word, man. Okay. So 9 times out of 10, if this is what you're doing, okay, on a consistent basis, you could be of the elect, man. Okay. So was that all in that Isaiah 44 that you wanted? Or is there more?
No, there's more. There's more on it.
Okay.
So going back to Isaiah 44, in the middle of verse 3, it says, I will pour my spirit upon thy seed and my blessing upon thine offspring, and they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the water courses. So just like when you first receive that taste of the water, this truth, man, you start, like the grass, like I said, gave that example, you shall spring up as among the grass. That's how you're gonna be in the spirit, and it says, verse 5, one shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord and surname himself by the name of Israel, man. And that's what we're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? We subscribing to the name, what it say? It says, another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and subscribe with his hand unto the Lord and surname himself by the name of Israel, man. And that's when we talk about like the 12 tribes and Jacob and Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham, Jacob,
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yeah.
God, the water. What I'm saying, hey, we subscribing ourselves to them. You know, we telling these people that we are from that lineage. You know what I'm saying? And it says, thus the Lord, the King of Israel, and His Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. I am the first. Oh, yeah, that was pretty much the point. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you get that water poured on you, man. Like you said, that that dry sponge. That first time that it gets water. It soaks it up, and it soaks up all that water. I'm saying the same thing happened with us, man. And we were those that grass that sprang up. What I'm saying?
Hmm. That's right. That's right. And then we gotta make sure that we continue to grow. Okay, not just sprout up real quick and then wither away. Okay, because that's what happens if you get planted on a stony ground, like you don't have no roots. So you might sprout up sooner than a seed planted on the good ground. So you might think, yeah, I'm ahead, I'm learning super fast. But where your foundation at? Okay, where's your
Hmm.
foundation at? We all like it in the tree. So every tree has to start as a sprout, and that sprout has to have a foundation, man. Okay. Um, Going back here, actually, that was it in Isaiah, correct?
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Okay, all right. I got a couple more precepts, and then we can close out. I think we've been going for a little bit now, but let me keep going here. I wanted to get this one. All right, going back into the false prophets, man. Okay, again, 2026, which they don't even sound right. Saying the year out loud don't even. It sounds. It's that shit sounds like the future 2026, but we're in 2026, man. Okay, the year of apostasy, agents and sellouts. A sellout is an apostate too. Okay, a sellout. Matter of fact, I'm gonna define agents, and I'm gonna define the sellout. Define agent, which there's gonna be multiple definitions on this. Let's see. There's gonna be multiple definitions on this. Okay, this is a let me see. A person who acts on behalf of another person or group. Let's see here. Person who obtains information. Actually, that's good. A person who obtains information for a government or other official body, typically in secret. So individuals that are like, spy. Well, here you go. These are similar words. A spy, a secret agent, an operative, right? Uh, that's really it. That's the one right there. An agent, okay, a person who obtains information for a government. Like what's that movie? Judas and the Black Messiah. I think that's what it was called, right? Yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah. That movie that came out. Remember? Did you ever watch this movie, bro? Came
No,
out in
no,
2020.
I
You
don't
never
think I've
watched it?
seen. No,
You
I
never
don't
watched
think
it?
so.
It's a good. It was a good ass movie, man. It's like pretty popular movie. But basically like a dramatic version of the life of what the hell was the name of this guy? He was a real guy. Um, Fred Hampton. Yeah, 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 yeah. Fred Hampton. Okay, this guy Fred Hampton. All right. So this movie Judas and the Black Messiah was a like a like a artist depiction or like a like a dramatic version of this man who was a real person, Fred Hampton. Okay, it says Frederick Allen Hampton Sr. Uh, says when he died in 1969, he was an American activist and revolutionary socialist who came to prominence in his late teens and early 20s in Chicago as a deputy chairman of National Black Panther Party. So yeah, this dude was part of the Black Panther Party, right? And basically, throughout history, Esau has I'm gonna drop down, okay? Because Esau has intentionally sent individuals in, okay, to these organizations that are predominantly Israelites and basically trying to infiltrate them, right? So it says 1967, the FBI identified Hampton as a radical threat. Now, if you go to the Southern Poverty Law Center, let's go to these assholes over here, SPLC, Black Hebrew Israelites. Let's pull it up. Okay, this is nothing new, man. Okay, this is what the hell's going on. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. You still with me, Aquab?
Yeah, 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 kind of.
You see the connection I'm making, right? With this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh this is Southern Poverty Law Center. Okay. Which these dudes, they already got exposed for you know, basically hypocrisy years ago. But either way, all right, this is a you know, entity that identifies hate groups, right? So this is a designated hate group, radical Hebrew Israelites. Okay. And then it's got a whole thing on it, right? Like it's got a whole thing on it. And then there was it combines all of the different. See, they got let me see if GMS is in there. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Look, check this out, bro. You've seen this before, Yakwa, right?
Yeah, kind.
Okay, yeah. All right. This is the modern version, like letting you know basically, like, look, bro, Esau gonna try to send agents in, okay, because he has uh all of the Israelite camps labeled out already. okay, online and designated as a, I don't even want to, as a H group, So this is just on this article in the middle of it, right? The and they quote, they take quotes, okay, they take quotes, and you know what I mean, and they document the shit. You know what I'm saying? So you better be about this thing, okay? If you out there thinking it's a game, Esau Ben had your ass. He been had a portfolio on you, okay? Since you first came out to the camp, all right, and started associating yourself with the camp, all right. You A portfolio has been being you know what I mean, or at least your face. Esau got the facial recognition, voice recognition. You know what I mean? If he really wanted to pinpoint you, he'll pinpoint you. Okay, but these are just uh, you know, uh an example. But I'm gonna read this right here from splcenter.org. The groups identified as radical Hebrew Israelites by the SPLC are part of the One West, all right, or One West ideology formed in the 1960s by Abba Bivens, which we call, Elder Abba Bivens. Okay, so Esau knows this shit. Not shit, but you know what I mean. He knows his shit. Like he got the information down, right? It says, to a degree, and named after the street address of the original school in the Harlem neighborhood of New York City. So, like right now, right? Um, we got zero live viewers on the stream right now. So you would think, right? Nobody's listening. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is just a close thing. Like, nah, bro. Esau Ben had all this. He been had all this stuff documented. Okay. It says Bivens called. All right. And by the way, formed in the 60s. This is the same time that he sent in the FBI to infiltrate you know the Black Panther group. So they've been any organized Israelite, so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American movement. Esau is going to try to infiltrate it, man. Okay, or he's going to go send sellouts or agents to infiltrate it, okay, and gather intelligence or plant counterintelligence. Anyway, Bivens, talking about Elder Abba Bivens, called for the return to a more extreme, this is what Esau is putting up here, to a more extreme adherence or to religious text. As this sect splintered, it gave rise to much of the hate filled beliefs exhibited by radical Hebrew Israelites we list today. Among the most prominent groups, there is consensus in most beliefs, but they lack unity and often compete and slander each other. Right? So he got it down,
Mhm.
right? This is before Chat GPT. Okay, this came out, it came out in like 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. When this came out, 2021, you know what I'm saying? Well, the movie came out in 2021. This came out, this article, I don't even know how old this article. I'm gonna look it up after this. But this is the point that I wanted to get right here. The most prominent groups, okay, are Israel United in Christ, IUIC, led by Bishop Nathaniel. Okay, they got the names up there. Okay, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, which is ISUPK, led by General Yohana. Okay, then they got Great Millstone, GMS, led by Apostle Tahar. Okay, and then the Sakari, aka Exodus 17:15, led by Gorilla Hebrew. Now, this dude, Gorilla Hebrew, got exposed this year, but he's exposed himself. The Lord exposed him. Okay, and now they kind of like, what I mean, a little under the radar now. The Sakari, you don't hear as much about them, but so they got all this stuff. The point being is that you got all this stuff. You got all this stuff on here, and then they got all, more stuff, um, more information. I wanted to see when this was published, but it doesn't even. That's fine. Y'all get the point. You brothers get the point, right? So if this article is already up here, all right, basically identifying us. Okay, this same situation could very well be is happening, um, to some degree, whether it's in GMS or whether it's in another Israelite camp, it's happening, man. Okay, and when you watch that movie, it kind of goes into a little bit about it. Now, anyway, um, going back here, we'll get a couple more precepts. You know what I mean? If you don't mind, Yaquab, we can get a few more and we can close out. How's that sound?
Okay, Khan, yeah, that's cool.
All right. Could you get Zechariah 13 and 2? And then also you can hold, we're going to read that right now. If you could also hold Isaiah 30 and 1 as well, Baba Kushah, you know.
You said Zechariah 13.
Yeah, and 2, Baba Kushah.
This is Zechariah 13 and 2. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land."
You see? So the Lord is going to start revealing, all right? And he already is. We've already seen this year alone, okay, a lot of like Yahweh said, there's nothing that is done in secret that shall not be, proclaimed on the hilltops, that will not be brought to light, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, so the things that especially like leaders, individuals that call themselves, or they take on these titles of, oh, I'm a leader of Israel. Okay, presumptuous individuals like that. Okay, if you're not teaching the true doctrine of Yahweh Shai, the Lord is going to cause um you to pass out of the land. Like, you're going to basically be removed. Okay, and the idols shall know. It says they're going to be cut off. They're going to no longer be remembered, right? And the unclean spirit, okay, basically prophets with unclean spirits on them, okay, is going to be passed out of the land. Go ahead.
Khan. Verse 4 says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, every one of his vision, when he had prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive."
What verse you at? My bad.
Verse 4.
Oh, can you read verse 3, Baba Kusha?
Oh, Salak, did I miss? Okay, verse 3 it says, "And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of the Lord. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesied."
Yeah. So this is talking about a false prophet that basically your sorceries stopped working. Like, you wasn't able to deceive anybody, but you still trying to prophesy in this. You still trying to prophesy deceits in that day, in the day that basically the curtains are pulled back. All right, and the Lord opens up the understanding of certain people. You know what I mean? Like, more people. Hey, your own parents, people's own parents, are gonna be ready to put them to death. Like, oh, no, you lying on the Lord, man. You lied. For all this time you've been lying, and you've been found out as a false prophet, okay, and a deceiver. Yo, people's own parents, okay, are gonna be putting them to death, okay, and rightfully so, okay, because again, man, um, you've prophesied lies in the name of the Lord. Okay. See? So that was pretty much it on that. And you can see the title here: False Prophets Ashamed. Okay. They will be exposed, man. And they're being exposed. Okay, and it's only gonna get worse. Um, but yeah, we can get that Isaiah 30 and 1. And also I had Jeremiah 5 and 23.
He said Isaiah 30 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
It says Isaiah 30 and 1, it says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin."
Yep. And that lets you know right there. Um, okay, rebellious children. That lets you know that Israel has a tendency to be uh pretty much, like stiff neck, man. Okay, to turn back to the mire, to go back to the vomit. Okay. They want to ask Egypt in this case, they wanted to ask Egypt for a covering and to help them out. Okay, but really they should have been asking from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay. So they turned a bad situation into a worse situation. That's what Israel is notorious for doing. Okay. And it's only going to lead to more destruction upon them. Okay. Um, so yeah, that was it on that. And then like I said, we can get that Jeremiah 5:23, and
Oh,
uh, and that'll pretty much be all I had on that.
this is Jeremiah 5:3. It says, O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved.
What
Thou
verse?
hast uh oh Salak, my bad, that was verse 3. Oh yeah, verse 3, right? Five Jeremiah 5:3.
No, no, 5:23. But really, you can start up at verse
Oh,
21.
okay, con Salak. Verse 21, it says, Hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not, fear
Hmm.
ye not
And
me.
and that and that's and that's one of the things that the dude last night, them guys it was like if you go back on the camp from last night, Yaquab, it was like the last 30 minutes of the camp. These three Edomite, well, I perceived them to be Edomites. That was what they looked like. Maybe they could have been Jake, but they was definitely acting like Esau. One of them was trying to like be super sympathetic. You know what I mean? He was really trying to convert us. But they were asking about this parable or this saying, really, this dark saying, having eyes and see not, having ears and hear not. And they couldn't even break that down, but they were trying to teach us that the Gentiles, that all, the all police, like, oh, well, it says all right here. All may be saved. All. And you know what's so funny, Yaquab? The thing is, bro, um, why are you so concerned about not being an Israelite? Like, because if you think about it, those that say that they're Israelites, right? I'm talking about those that say that they're Israelis, excuse me, over there in the land of Israel, in the state of Israel, those individuals, you know who I'm talking about, Amalek, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those individuals look more like them than we do. So why are you trying to save the Gentiles so bad? Is it because you really know that you're not an Israelite? Because they're trying to say that basically it's all about the Gentiles, like no matter who's an Israelite. Okay. But really, they know that they're not the chosen people. Okay, they know that they're not the chosen people, and they know that their time is up. Okay, their time is up, man. So can you finish out in verse 22 and 23, Baba Kasha?
Con, it says, Fear ye not me, saith the Lord. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea, by perpetual decree that it cannot pass it? And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. For
Yeah.
this,
Like how you gonna not fear a power that like set up the ocean and the beach and the earth? You know what I mean? Like, and he created that dynamic and that harmony in the earth. Like, you're not gonna tremble at the presence of the Lord. The one that was powerful enough to set all that up. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
if you was out there during a hurricane coming in, you'd fear that, but you wouldn't fear the maker of that. If you was out there, on the beachfront, you know what I mean, and the storm surge coming in and start flooding everything, you know, you ain't you gonna tell me you're not fearful of that, but the power that created that, you just going, oh, I'm gonna blow that off. Okay, that's again a an apostate. You denounce your faith. You say that you believe in the Lord, but you really don't. Okay, go ahead.
Come on, verse 23, it says, "But this people had a revolting and a rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone."
See that? And that's the point. Okay? A revolting and a rebellious heart. Okay? You bucking up against the Lord like you're gonna accomplish something by uh uh making a decision outside of him. Okay? That's why the Lord, hey, it's like a woman, like she got her mind made up and she's just too proud and nobody can tell her anything. It's like, okay, well, she rebelled against me, she revolted against me. Okay. And she might have left the house. She was a woman, she might have left the house. She's out of there. What can you say to bring her back? Like if she got demons on her. Okay, that was us, Israel, in totality, as a nation. Like basically, like there was nothing that. That's why the Lord had to pretty much He had to put us in captivity, bro. Like several times, and then
Mm.
even after that, the Spirit of the Lord had to come upon her. Like we had a lot to learn. We still, we in these last days, of course, we getting the last little bits of information that we're gonna need to get up out of here. But we came a long way. You know what I'm saying? And we still would be here forever if it wasn't for the sacrifice that Yahweh Shah made. Okay. And you still have Israelites in 2026 that they're not looking for the kingdom of heaven to come here. They're not looking for the downfall of Babylon the Great. Okay, they're not looking for the MOTB, okay, RFID hip. They're not looking for that to be implemented in the earth because they don't even believe it. They're too busy, again, um, causing strife or perpetuating strife and contention. This thing is about pushing the word, man. Okay, rightly dividing the word of truth. Okay, that's what this thing is about. All right, and you got to teach the sound doctrine. Okay, going back to that Galatians. Matter of fact, I'm gonna end off on that if you don't mind, unless you had something else.
No, you got it.
Galatians, Galatians 1. I read it in the NLT earlier. Now I'm gonna read it back in the King James version. Okay, Galatians 1:8. It says, "But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you that than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we said before, so say I now again. If any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed." He said it twice, okay, back to back. So to hone in on the fact that, listen, man, this is the truth. Okay, there's only one truth. Lock into reality. Okay, this is not no fairy tale story, man. Okay, this is reality, and you have to look at it. You have to treat it as such. Otherwise, you are um, delusional. Anybody who's not in the truth is delusional. That's another topic, but that was pretty much it. Get this shit off my screen, man. uh, that's pretty much it, brother. You know what I'm saying? I know we've been going for like an hour and a half. Uh, so yeah, I don't know if you had any other precepts, points, anything like that before we close out.
No, no, yeah, you pretty much made the point.
Con, hey man, continue to keep the faith, man. Lord willing, Abaratazah, this is an edifying lesson. Okay, with that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai,
Shai Hashem Barkadash.
double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Till next time, we'll say Shalom.
Shalom.